Welcome back to Chase Circle, where every story takes you a little adventure. Today, I'm going to share with you a story that's full of surprise and maybe even a lesson or two. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this journey together.
I don't care about that little girl. Donna said it in my kitchen like she was commenting on the weather. My husband stood beside her, and he nodded small, polite, agreeing. Then my phone rang. The school's number. I picked up, already cold. Mrs. Carter? There's a woman here to pick up Mia. She says she's her grandmother. My stomach dropped. Donna smiled, like she'd planned the call. I looked at Ethan. Tell them she's not allowed. He didn't move. Lauren, don't do this. It'll embarrass Mom. He said it like my fear was an inconvenience. The receptionist kept talking, voice tight. She's getting upset. She's insisting. We need your help. Ethan finally met my eyes and said, quiet, final, handle it yourself. And in that second, I understood something I didn't want to understand. They were willing to let my child be taken, as long as it looked like family. If you've ever been told to swallow something cruel because you're strong, hit like so this reaches the people who need it. I drove to the school with my hands locked on the steering wheel, breathing through my nose like I'd been taught in prenatal classes. Slow in, slow out, don't panic the baby. Except my baby was 8 when this started, and she'd just turned 9 last month. She wasn't in the car seat anymore. She was old enough to hear tone, old enough to feel when adults were deciding her place in the room. When I pulled into the lot, I saw Donna before I even parked. She was near the front doors, shoulders squared, talking with her hands, the way she did when she wanted an audience. The office staff stood in a half circle like a fence. Mia wasn't outside. Thank God. Donna spotted my car and lifted her chin, like she'd won something. I walked in, signed in, and said one sentence to the woman behind the desk. Mia is not to be released to anyone except me. Donna cut in immediately. I'm her grandmother. This is ridiculous. I looked at her. You're Ethan's mother. That doesn't give you access to my child. Ethan chose that moment to arrive late, calm, hands in pockets, like he was coming to a parent-teacher conference, not a custody boundary. Donna turned to him. Tell her. He rubbed the back of his neck and gave me the look I'd come to recognize, the look that said, please make this easier for me. Lauren, he said, we're here now. Can we not make a scene? My voice stayed flat. The scene is you letting your mom try to pick up my daughter without my permission. Donna clicked her tongue. It's not without permission. Ethan said it was fine. I felt my blood move slower. Ethan is not Mia's legal parent. Donna's eyes flashed, then smoothed right back into that sweet little smile. We're married. That makes us family. That word family was always the knife, the excuse, the bandage over the cut they caused. The staff member slid a form toward me. We can update the pickup list. We also have an optional safety password. I took the pen. My hand didn't shake. I wrote my name. I wrote a password Mia would remember. I wrote Donna's name in the section that said not authorized and pressed so hard the paper dented. Donna watched, lips tight. You're going to traumatize her with all this. I didn't look up. You don't get to talk about trauma after you tried to take her. Ethan exhaled like I'd insulted a saint. She wasn't taking her. She was helping. Helping. That was their favorite word. It meant control, with a ribbon on it. The secretary went to get Mia. When my daughter came out, her backpack sat crooked on one shoulder. Her hair was still damp from recess sweat. She looked at Donna, then at me, and she didn't smile at either of us. That was the first detail that felt wrong in a way I couldn't name yet. In the car, Mia stared at her lap. I waited. Finally, she said, barely audible, she told them you were busy. She said she was on the list. My fingers tightened on the wheel. Did she talk to you? Mia's voice got even smaller. She said, I'm lucky you married Ethan, because now I have a real family, and I shouldn't mess it up. I swallowed hard. Did Ethan hear her say that? Mia nodded once. He was on the phone. He didn't look at me. Silence filled the car like water. When we got home, Donna was already there. Of course she was. She had the spare key Ethan had insisted we give her for emergencies. She was at my kitchen table with a folder in front of her, the kind of neat, stiff folder lawyers use. The folder looked out of place next to Mia's math homework and the half-empty box of cereal. Ethan stood behind her like a witness. Donna tapped the folder. "Since we're all together, we should handle this." I didn't sit. "What is that?" Ethan answered for her. "Paperwork, just family stuff." Donna smiled again. For Mia's future. That phrase, Mia's future, should have made me feel safe. Instead, it made my skin prickle, because Donna never spoke about Mia like she was a child. She spoke about her like she was a line item. I opened the folder. The title on the first page was in bold black letters, Durable Power of Attorney. I flipped one page, then another. My eyes caught the word trust. I looked up. "Why is there anything here about a trust?" Ethan said, quick, like he'd rehearsed it. "Because you have one." I stared at him. "Mia has one." Donna leaned back, crossing her arms. "Don't split hairs. In this family, what's yours is ours. That's the point of a family." Then she said it again, clear, unbothered, like she was settling a debate. "I don't care about that little girl. The family matters." I felt Mia behind me in the hallway, quiet as a shadow, listening. I kept my face still. I nodded once. "Okay," I said. "I'll sign." And while Donna's shoulders relaxed in victory, I made my first silent decision. They thought they'd handed me a trap, but they'd handed me proof. Before I tell you what I signed the next morning, tell me in the comments, would you have signed anything at all, or would you have walked out right then? That night, after Mia went to bed, Ethan tried to crawl into our conversation the way he crawled into everything uncomfortable, soft voice, gentle hands, like touch could replace accountability. He stood in the doorway of our room. "You scared her today." I kept folding laundry, socks, pajamas, small, ordinary things that made me feel like my life wasn't slipping. "She scared Mia," I said. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Mom didn't mean it like that." I didn't laugh. I didn't argue. I just asked, "Then how did she mean it?" He didn't answer. He sat on the edge of the bed and sighed, like I was the problem to be managed. "Lauren," he said, "you don't understand how my mom thinks. She's old school. She believes families pool resources." There it was, money, always hiding under the word family. I set down a stack of shirts. Explain the trust part. His eyes shifted, just once. Enough. "It's not a big deal," he said. "It's just protection. If something happened to you, the paperwork makes things smoother." "For who?" I asked. "For us," he said. "For the family." I kept my voice even. "Mia's trust is from her dad. It's for Mia." Ethan's face hardened for a second. Then he softened it again like a mask. "And Mia is part of us, so it's still for the family." That sentence was the secret I hadn't wanted to see. In his mind, Mia's money had already been reassigned. I went downstairs after he fell asleep and pulled out the folder again. I read every page slowly, like I was reading a contract in a foreign language. Durable power of attorney, full authority. Financial decisions, access to accounts. Decision-making power if I was incapacitated, a word broad enough to drive a truck through. And there, buried in the middle, was a paragraph that referenced any trust in which the principal has an interest. I wasn't the beneficiary. Mia was. But the wording wasn't for accuracy. It was for reach. Something else felt off, too. The signature lines had 2 witness spaces already typed in. Names printed neatly, like they'd been filled out before they ever came to my house. That was the wrong detail that kept flashing in my mind. I took photos of everything with my phone. Every page, every name, every logo on the letterhead. Then I did one more thing. I went to the drawer where we kept spare keys. Donna's key wasn't there. Ethan had taken it. I stood in that kitchen, lights off, the only glow coming from my phone screen, and I realized Donna didn't just feel entitled to my home. She had access, and Ethan was the one handing it to her. The next morning, I moved like I was on autopilot. Lunch packed, hair brushed, Mia's shoes tied. Normal voice, normal smile. Mom, Mia said as I zipped her backpack. Am I in trouble? My throat tightened. No, baby. She stared at my face like she was searching for the truth I wasn't saying out loud. Donna says I'm sensitive. I crouched to her level. When someone says something mean and you feel hurt, that's not sensitivity. That's being human. Mia's eyes watered, but she blinked hard, trying not to cry. She had started doing that around Donna. Like tears were a weakness to be corrected. That was another theft, quieter than money. At school drop-off, I watched her walk into the building. Small shoulders, big backpack, and my chest tightened with the kind of fear that sits low and steady. Not panic, not hysteria, just fact. I got back in my car and drove past my office, past the grocery store, past the coffee place where I usually stopped when I needed to feel normal. I drove straight to a law office downtown with a small brass sign that read, Vanessa Kim, ESQ, Trusts and Estates. Inside, the air smelled like paper and lemon cleaner. Vanessa was younger than I expected, calm, precise, and she didn't waste my time. She looked at the photos on my phone. Her eyebrows didn't jump. Her voice didn't rise. She just said, Who drafted this? I don't know, I answered. Donna brought it. Ethan backed her. Vanessa tapped the letterhead. This is a real firm, but something about this formatting is odd. There was that word again. Odd. Wrong. I told Vanessa everything I hadn't told anyone else. About Ethan calling Mia sensitive. About Donna using my spare key like it was her own. About the way for Mia's future sounded like a threat. Vanessa asked one question that landed like a stone. Has anyone in that family already contacted the trustee for your daughter's account? I felt my mouth go dry. I don't know. Vanessa nodded slowly. Then assume they have. My hands started to shake. Just a little. Not from fear of Donna. From the idea that while I was trying to be polite, someone might already be moving money around my child like chess pieces. Vanessa slid a legal pad toward me. We're going to do 3 things today, she said. Lock the trust, create an alert system, and put the other firm on notice that you know what's happening. I swallowed. Can we do that fast? We can do it now, she said. But you need to understand something. She leaned forward. If your husband is involved, this may get ugly at home. I stared at my hands. Then I looked up. It's already ugly. It's just quiet. Halfway through signing the first document, Vanessa paused and said, One more thing. If Donna is bold enough to bring this to your kitchen, she may be bold enough to try something else. What else? I asked. Vanessa's voice stayed steady. Access to your daughter. School. Medical. Anything that looks like help. My pen hovered over the paper. Because I could suddenly see the next move before it happened, and I realized I didn't have as much time as I thought. If you're still with me, drop a comment. What would you check first? The money or your child's school? And if you want to know how I handled it without Ethan's permission, subscribe, because the next part is where the family mask finally slipped. I left Vanessa's office with a manila envelope that felt heavier than paper should. It wasn't just documents. It was leverage. It was a line in the sand that didn't rely on Ethan's agreement. I drove back to my office and worked a full day like nothing was happening. Emails, meetings, small talk about someone's weekend. I laughed at the right places. I didn't tell anyone my family was quietly trying to rewrite my daughter's future. At 4:45, Ethan texted, Mom's coming by tonight. We need to finish the paperwork. My fingers went cold. Finish. Like this was a group project. I texted back one word. Okay. When I got home, Donna was already in my kitchen again. Mia was at the table doing homework. Ethan was standing behind her chair, one hand on her shoulder like a claim. Donna's smile was wide. There she is. Our girl. Our girl. Mia didn't look up. Donna set the folder in front of me. Same stiff edges, same confident tap. Just sign where it's marked. Ethan added, gentle voice. You don't need to read it again. It's just legal stuff. I thought about Vanessa's face when she said, assume they already contacted the trustee, so I played my part. I flipped through pages slowly, like I was trying to understand. I asked one question, the kind of question that sounded naive. Why does it say principal and not guardian? I asked. Donna's mouth tightened for half a second. Legal terms. Don't worry about it. Ethan cut in fast. Lauren, please. This is for the family. There it was again. Family. The word they used when they wanted me to stop thinking. I pointed at the witness lines. Who are these witnesses? Donna smiled. Friends of mine. They'll sign later. That was the secret inside the secret. They didn't just want my signature. They wanted to manufacture legitimacy after the fact. I glanced toward Mia. She was pretending to focus on her math worksheet, but her pencil wasn't moving. I kept my voice light. Okay, I signed the page Donna pointed to. And here's the part I didn't tell Ethan that night. I signed because Vanessa told me to. Sign it, Vanessa had said earlier, surprising me. Let them think they have what they want, but we'll file your protective documents first. Their POA becomes a useless piece of paper and possibly evidence of intent. So I signed, not because I surrendered, but because I wanted their confidence to stay loud and careless. Donna exhaled like she'd been holding her breath. She reached out and patted my hand, possessive, not comforting. See, she said, this is how we keep peace. Peace. Another word that meant my silence. After Donna left, Ethan poured himself a drink and acted like the air had cleared. I told you it would be fine, he said. You stress yourself out. I watched him from across the counter. Did you tell your mom about Mia's trust? He froze for a beat, then shrugged. She asked. I told her. It's not a secret. It was a secret, I said, still calm. It was Mia's private protection. Ethan's voice sharpened. You're acting like my mom is a criminal. I said nothing, because I'd just received an email alert from the trustee set up by Vanessa that someone had attempted to request information on the account that afternoon. The request hadn't been granted, but it had been made, and the name on the request was Donna's. If your stomach just dropped like mine did, hit like, because this is the moment I stopped wondering and started collecting evidence. That same minute, I remembered something else Vanessa had said. People who think they're entitled don't stop at one door. They try every door. I opened our banking app and saw a new device linked to our profile. Not mine. When I asked Ethan, he said, probably a glitch, and changed the subject. He wouldn't hand me his phone, and he wouldn't meet my eyes. Upstairs, while Mia brushed her teeth, she asked, Do I have to call Ethan Dad now? Her voice was careful, like she was stepping around broken glass. I told her, You call people what feels true. She nodded, relief and worry mixed together. Donna says if I don't, Ethan might get mad. I felt my jaw tighten. Ethan is responsible for his feelings. Not you. Mia stared at the sink, then whispered, Okay. As I tucked her in, I listened for footsteps on the stairs. I didn't hear any, but I did hear drawers opening downstairs slow, deliberate, like someone looking for something they believed belonged to them. My stomach didn't flip. It hardened. I went downstairs after Mia fell asleep and found Ethan in my home office, standing too close to my filing cabinet. He turned fast. I was just looking for the warranty paperwork. I held his eyes. In my files? He didn't answer. I didn't argue. I just closed the cabinet and put the key in my pocket. Then I went to the drawer where we kept the spare key, and I replaced the locks that same week. Quietly. No announcement, no fight. The next time Donna tried the door, it wouldn't open. That night, Ethan tried to corner me in the hallway. Are you seriously locking my mom out? He asked. I kept my voice low. I'm locking everyone out who thinks they can reach Mia through me. He stepped closer. You're going to make her think you hate her. I looked past him at the stairs. No? You're going to make Mia think adults can say cruel things and still get rewarded. Ethan's mouth tightened. You're twisting this. Then untwist it, I said. Say out loud that Mia comes first. He couldn't. He just swallowed and walked away. What happened next was the moment Donna realized the locks had changed, and she didn't take it quietly. I watched Ethan reread my face, realizing he didn't know me anymore. Then the doorbell rang again. The next morning, Ethan woke up angry. Not at Donna. At me. You changed the locks? He asked, voice low so Mia wouldn't hear. I buttered toast like my hands weren't trembling. Yes, that's my mother, he said, like that should end the conversation. And this is my daughter, I answered. He stared at me for a long moment, then grabbed his phone and walked outside to make a call. I didn't have to ask who he was calling. After drop-off, I called the pediatrician's office and updated every permission form. I added the same safety password I'd given the school. Then I sat Mia down at the kitchen table and said, if any adult ever says I sent them, you ask for the password. She practiced it like a spelling word, repeating it under her breath until it stuck. She looked relieved and embarrassed, at the same time relieved to have a rule, embarrassed that she needed one. That's the part people don't see. Kids don't want drama. They want a map. An hour later, Donna showed up anyway. She stood on the porch, pressing the doorbell over and over, like persistence could override a deadbolt. Through the window, I watched her face move through disbelief, then rage, then a bright smile she put on when she saw Mia peek from the hallway. I opened the door only as far as the chain allowed. Donna's voice went syrupy. Sweetheart, why are you doing this? We're family. I didn't answer. She tilted her head. Ethan said you signed. So what's the problem? I kept my voice even. The problem is you tried to access my daughter's trust. Donna's smile slipped for half a second. Then she recovered fast. I was protecting her. Someone has to think long-term. You asked her about her father's safe, I said. Donna's eyes widened in fake surprise. Oh, please. I was making conversation. Behind her, Ethan stepped onto the porch. He didn't stand beside me. He stood beside her. That was the moment I felt the marriage shift. Not break. Shift. Like a table leg finally giving out under too much weight. Donna turned to him. Tell her I'm allowed. Ethan looked at me and said the sentence I still hear at night. You're not good with paperwork. Mom is. You'll sign what we need if we present it the right way. He said it like he was explaining a simple fact, like I was a child. Mia was in the hallway, frozen. I could see her reflection in the glass. Donna saw her too, and lowered her voice. And honestly, I don't care about that little girl. I care about this family. There it was again, the cold sentence, the justification, the dismissal. I closed the door gently in their faces. I slid the chain off. I locked it. I leaned my forehead against the wood for 1 second, then I turned around. I walked to the phone and called Vanessa. Donna tried to pick Mia up, I said. And she's escalating. Vanessa didn't gasp. She didn't sound shocked. She sounded prepared. Good, she said. Because the other firm called us this morning. My heart stopped. They called you? They received our notice, Vanessa said. And they're panicking. They're asking why you filed a trust lock and an alert. They're also asking why the POA you were given appears to have witness signatures that don't match their records. I gripped the counter. What does that mean? It means, Vanessa said, someone may have been planning to backfill witnesses. That's not how it works. My mouth went dry. Is it fraud? Vanessa paused. It's at least sloppy, and sloppy with legal documents is dangerous. While I was still holding the phone, Mia walked in with a drawing she'd made at school. She paused when she saw my face and quietly slid the paper onto the counter. No questions, no demands, just waiting. That patience in a 9-year-old broke something in me. Then she said, Lauren, listen carefully. Do you still have the original folder? Yes, I said. Donna left it. Don't hand it back, Vanessa said. Bring it to me, today. I opened the folder again and checked the details Vanessa had pointed out. The notary block looked copied and pasted. The dates didn't line up cleanly with the day Donna first dropped by. And the witness names, those neat typed names, were the kind of thing you add when you assume no one will ever read. That was the new secret sitting in my hands. They weren't just pressuring me. They were betting I wouldn't notice the cracks. I looked toward the hallway where Mia stood, hugging her backpack like a shield. Vanessa's voice softened for the first time. Then document everything, and keep the school locked down. If they're bold with money, they'll be bold with access. When I hung up, Ethan walked back inside like nothing had happened. He opened the fridge. Mom's upset. You didn't have to humiliate her. I watched him, really watched him, and saw the same pattern that had been there since the first Sunday dinner. Donna says. Ethan cushions. Mia absorbs. I swallow. Not anymore. I said, Ethan, I spoke to an attorney. He froze mid-reach. Why? Because you and your mother brought a power of attorney into my kitchen, I said. And it's now being questioned by the law firm on the letterhead. His face changed color. Questioned how? I let the silence do its work. Then I said it. They think it might involve forged witness signatures. Ethan stared at me like I'd slapped him. Lauren, he whispered. What did you do? I didn't gloat. I didn't smile. I didn't say I told you so. I said. I protected Mia. If you've ever had to become the difficult one just to keep your child safe, hit like, and before I tell you what Donna tried next, I want to know your guess. What do you think her next move was? The bank, the school, or my daughter's medical records? 3 days later, the call came while I was rinsing dishes. Unknown number. I let it ring once, twice, then answered. A man's voice. Professional. Tight. Is this Ethan Carter? Ethan was in the living room. I handed him the phone without a word. Speaking, he said. I watched his face shift in real time, confident to confused to afraid. Yes, that's my wife. Wait, what do you mean serious concern? He paced. He listened. He swallowed. Then he blurted loud. Forgery? That's impossible. I felt Mia behind me, coming down the stairs, drawn by the tone. Ethan covered the receiver and hissed. They're saying the witnesses' signatures might be fabricated. They're saying the document could be invalid. I stared at him. And what else did they say? He listened again, eyes widening. They received a notice. A lock. An alert. He stopped talking and looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. When he hung up, his hands were shaking. What did you sign with that lawyer? I kept my voice level. The truth. Ethan's mouth opened, then closed. He tried another angle. You didn't have to go nuclear. Nuclear. That word. Like protecting my child was an overreaction, but taking her resources wasn't. I said, I didn't go nuclear. I went legal. That afternoon, Vanessa called me back with an update. The firm on the letterhead had opened an internal review. They wanted the original folder. They wanted to know who contacted them. They wanted to know why Donna had been pushing an urgent signature without proper witnessing. The plan that had felt so powerful in my kitchen was collapsing under basic scrutiny. Donna showed up that night, not smiling now. She stood in my doorway, hands shaking with controlled anger. What did you do? I didn't step aside. You tried to access my daughter's trust. It's for the family, she snapped. Ethan deserves security. We all do. I looked at her. Mia deserves what her father left her. Donna's eyes narrowed. Her father is gone. Ethan is here. That sentence was so blunt I almost admired it. Ethan hovered behind her, pale, caught between two women he'd hoped would manage each other. Donna leaned forward, dropping her voice to a hiss. You think you're winning? You're tearing the family apart. I answered, quiet. You tore it when you said you don't care about my child. She flinched, then hardened. I said what I meant. That little girl is baggage. Mia's bedroom door creaked upstairs. I said, get off my porch. Donna laughed sharp. Make me. So I did the only thing that actually works with people like Donna. I stopped negotiating. I turned, walked to the hallway table, and pulled out a piece of paper I'd printed earlier. A formal notice. Donna was no longer permitted on my property without written invitation. Any attempt to obtain Mia from school or access her records would be treated as interference. I handed it to her. Here. Donna stared at it like it was poison. You can't do this. I can. I said. And I already did. Ethan finally spoke, voice cracking. Mom, maybe we should just… Donna spun on him. No, she's manipulating you. She's using that kid to control you. That was the last wrong detail that snapped everything into place. In Donna's mind, Mia was never a child. She was a tool, a bargaining chip. Ethan's face twisted. For the first time, he didn't cushion her. He didn't smooth it over. He said, Mom, you can't talk about her like that. Donna's eyes widened in disbelief, then filled with tears she used like weapons. After everything I've done for you? Guilt, obligation, reputation, the full set. Ethan looked at me, almost pleading. Lauren, can we talk privately? I shook my head. Not tonight. He swallowed. Then where am I supposed to go? I held his gaze. Not here. He left with a bag and his pride, and Donna left with nothing but fury. 2 days later, my phone rang again. The school. My whole body went cold before the woman even finished her first sentence. Mrs. Carter, Donna is here. She's saying there's been a misunderstanding and she's authorized. I closed my eyes. Do not release Mia. We won't, the receptionist said. She doesn't know the password, but she's getting loud. I drove there. Again, heart steady, this time not because I wasn't scared, but because I was done being surprised. Donna was at the front desk, arguing. When she saw me, she spread her hands like I was unreasonable. This is ridiculous, she said. I'm trying to help. I stepped close enough for her to hear me without an audience. You don't care about her. You said it. So stop pretending. Donna's face tightened. You're ruining her chance at a real family. I said, a real family doesn't need to steal from a child. The staff escorted her out. That night, Ethan called from his brother's place. His voice was small. Mom says you turned the whole family against her. I said no. The truth did. Because Donna had already told a version of this story to the relatives. A brave grandmother. A hysterical mother. A man caught in the middle. Vanessa helped me do what Donna couldn't undo. We sent documentation, timeline, photos, the trustee alert, the school call logs, the POA with the witness names already printed. When the family saw it laid out, Donna couldn't hide behind "for the family" anymore. The phrase sounded like what it was, a cover. Ethan didn't come back. Not right away. He asked for time. I gave him distance, not comfort. Mia started sleeping through the night again. She stopped blinking back tears so hard. She laughed in the car once, a real laugh, and I realized how long it had been since I'd heard it. In the last 20% of this story, here's what I want to ask you, because it's the question that still sits on my chest some nights. If someone looks you in the eye and says, I don't care about that little girl, do you wait for them to prove it twice? Or do you make the quiet move the first time and accept being the villain in their version so your child can stay safe in the real one? Tell me in the comments what you would do. And if you've lived anything like this, share it. Someone reading might need your answer more than you know.